I'm going to share my screen here. So my wife had an uncle, and can you see that? Good. Um, he had a unique story in that um, he was adopted, and that's pretty much all I knew. He died in World War II, and uh, I think a lot of you know I do a lot of Ancestry.com stuff. I love genealogy. So I dove in to this guy's history and found a bunch of cool stuff. So Jack Lee Allen Finney was born in Denver in 1913. He was drafted in 1940. That's a copy of his draft card. Um, so he went into the Army. He had the rank of tech level 5. He was a tech sergeant. So back then, they had a ranking for technical sergeants. A technical sergeant was someone who was a leader, but not a leader of people. He had a technical expertise, to which I'm not sure. Uh, Speculation is he was either a medic or a demolitions guy. Reason I say that is he was involved in 3 amphibious assaults in his career. First one was Operation Torch in North Africa. I'm not sure which beachhead he was in, but he was a part of the amphibious assault on Operation on North Africa against the Vichy French. Vichy French were they were French, but they were allies of the Germans after the Germans conquered France. So they didn't put up much of a fight, and he went through the amphibious assault, fought through all of North Africa, um, through, uh, through the battles in Tunis and Libya. He was also involved later in 1943 on the amphibious assault on Sicily as they were going up towards Italy. And he fought there, survived there. He then was a part of the amphibious assault on Anzio in Italy. It's there where his life was laid on the altar of liberty on the beaches of Anzio. Now, his uh, his death certificate says he died on 22 January of 1944, which is the opening day of of the invasion of Anzio. Now, I'm assuming again that he died during the amphibious assault. And since he was a Tech 5, he was either a medic or a demolition specialist. Uh, a demolition specialist would go in and would destroy the obstacles on the beach to allow the amphibious assault vehicles to go through. But it's there where he died. He's interned in Washington State, where he came from. And normally that would be the end of the story. But I dug in deeper, knowing that he was adopted, because I wanted to know, okay, where was this guy from? What kind of what kind of upbringing did he have? So found out because I wasn't sure how he was adopted or how he got there. Found out later from somebody on Ancestry.com that his parents were entertainers, and Tammy's grandparents would watch him. They would be the babysitters because they would travel often. And back then, You didn't fly around, you drove back in the 1920s or the 19 um, late teens, 1917, 1918. And they did this often, but the day came when they didn't come back. Turns out they had an automobile accident and they perished. And her grandparents took him in, adopted him, and raised him. Now, they moved from Denver to Washington sometime in the 1920s. And her father, Charles, died at, I think, at age 45. He was a World War I veteran, and he died of some kind of cardiac event. So now he was the oldest in the family. There were other siblings there. And according to some of the census records I found, he left home at about 14 or 15 to work as a servant in homes in Washington state. Um, he also he worked as a stable boy and um, as a lumberjack in the lumber industry before he was drafted. So my thought was, okay, what motivated him to serve his family so well, then later serve his country? I may not know that. I can't find a lot more information other than what I've shared so far. But my thought was, it, it, it's a shame that a lot of, and I'm, uh, I'm not disparaging our current generation, but I don't think you can find someone like that, uh, or at least many, who are willing to sacrifice themselves and, in the end, their lives for their family and their country. Um, I hope someday we can get back to that because that's survival for any country. Um, my wife has the Purple Heart that he was awarded posthumously. We have that here. Um, we, of course, have his picture. And I'm finding out things that his current family doesn't know. So I'm educating them on what he did and how he lived his life. Um, as far as my family's um, service, my grandfather was a sailor in the Mexican Navy. My father went to a Mexican military academy and was an officer in the Mexican Army for a couple years. Uh, my two uncles, one served in the Air Force back in the early days in the Air Force in Korea. Uh, he was a jet engine mechanic and electronic specialist. Uh, had an uncle who was in the Army during peacetime. He was in Germany and he was stationed in France back before Charles de Gaulle lost his mind and threw all the Americans out. Um, my brother was a reservist during Vietnam, and my cousin was an intelligence officer during Operation Desert Storm and Operation Desert Shield. He was with the 101st Airborne. The whole theme here, and I appreciate Chad, the theme is to remember these individuals who gave all. I think the saying is all gave some, but some gave all. Thank you for the veterans who have given some, and let's remember those who gave all. Thank you.